Hey, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about when I first learned how to use synthesizers. Back in what I call the dark ages of synths, the early 90s. Let's get into it. So when I first started with my band in 1988, we had three synthesizers. We had a CC5000. We also had a Yamaha DX7. So both the CC5000 and the DX7 had buttons and a two-line LCD screen for editing. We also had an SH101, and that was an analog synth from the early 80s, and it had no screen and sliders and knobs. Guess which one was easier to use? That's right, the old school SH101 from 1983. Ours was red. Matter of fact, it came in three colors. I only have one piece of equipment left that follows the old school early 90s programming, and that is the Alesis DM Pro. Sorry about the crop, it's kind of weird. So we're going to change one character name on the kit name here. So you got to go to edit. You got to scroll over, scroll. We're going to turn that, and there's a little jog wheel. We're going to turn that to 1, and then you have to hit store, and then hit store again. That's how many steps it was to do one character. So one of the soft synths I've been using a lot in the last year is called the Terrell N6. And if you look at it, you'll see nothing but knobs and faders. What that does is shape the sound just by moving faders around. It allows you to kind of dial things in quickly. So, I call this move something, hear something, because you get this feedback right away. But the problem is, the LFOs are really hard to use on this, so I ended up not using them at all, because they don't really work for me. But you've got this mixer section that has noise and ring modulation and feedback and a sub, and that's quick and easy to use. So that part's cool. You can shape your tone a little bit too. Not to mention this chorus is just crazy cool. One down here. As much as I love this plugin, I can't use it much anymore because I can't get the LFOs to work correctly, and that's kind of a design problem. Now there's another VST instrument that I'm using quite a bit these days, and it is called the Tal Noisemaker. So keep in mind, this is a piece of software, and it's still laid out like an analog synth with knobs and faders. Let's get this going here. So, let me find a better sound here. Okay, let's see, we got bass. Yeah, that's horrible. Okay. That's not a bad sound. Let me get back to that one here. Okay, so I drop the filter attack. Oh, there we go. That's already better. Let's get into this master section a little bit. So you've got the two oscillators have their own volume knobs, and then there's a sub, and tune and ring mod and portamento if you want to, and your master volume. So you've got your filter and your amplitude right here, those envelopes right there. Everything about this plug-in synth is easy to change, and you can draw your own waveform, which is going to give you like a kind of custom vibrato or a custom LFO, and then you also get to pick how fast it's going to run through there. Yeah, you can do a lot of neat stuff with this. It's a very, very easy to use basic synth, and the reason I'm showing it off is because I want to show to you that we're still using knobs and faders, 40 years later. There's a reason why, even now, people spend thousands of dollars on synths like Jupiter 8 the Juno 106 and the Korg. It's because you get the buttons and faders that you used to have back in the late 70s and early 80s. And that gives you an overview, tactile nature of what's happening with your sound. And it's just plain faster when it comes down to it. So you remember how hard it was for me to change even just a single character on the rack mount DM Pro. That's the way everything was back in the day. It was just a couple of buttons and a jog wheel or an up-down button. It was very, very complicated. If you're just getting into synths, you dodged a major bullet by not being around during the late 80s and early 90s. The transformation to knobs and faders took about a decade, but we are in such a better place now. Even the software emulates the late 70s and early 80s. As always, if you need to contact me, you can reach me at studiooonabudget@gmail.com. We'll see you next time. Thanks.